Hello, everyone. It's Reverend Matthew Sponigal from St. Luke's Anglican Church in Dartmouth, and I'm here with my two sons and a special guest today. It's the Reverend Marilyn Newport, and she is a priest in our diocese who has a very special job. She does not work in a parish looking after the ministry of the parish and the church services in a parish. Her ministry is primarily now in a hospital, and it's a little bit different than what Daddy does at the church. So I thought maybe we could ask Marilyn a few questions to find out what she does to help God in God's world. So Marilyn, what do you do as a hospital chaplain?
A number of things. Firstly, in the morning when I arrive, I have the ability to have a list printed with all of the Anglicans in the hospital. So I know who they are and where they are. And then I pray over the list. I read the names and I pray and I listen to God to tell me where I should start, who I should go see on a particular day. And that's where I begin and I go from there. If no name comes to mind, if God's not holding up anyone in particular, I start on the 4th floor. I walk up the 3 flights of stairs to the 4th floor and I start visiting there, and then I walk up another flight and another and another. When I enter a room where there's a patient, I would introduce myself as the Anglican chaplain, and based on the look on their face, because some people would have a question mark on their face. Ben, do you have a question mark on your face that I'm seeing? Like, what is it you're doing here?
Do you have a question mark on your face, Ben? No? No? Okay.
So what I do is I reassure them that I'm not there to find out if they're going to church. I am there simply to be a presence with them. And then they look, not so much questioning, but what does this look like? And it doesn't take them long to start talking about whatever is happening for them. Mostly this last couple of weeks, what's been happening, of course, is this coronavirus. And it's been interesting how many are sharing with me the good news they're seeing on the news, telling me about how the earth is cleaning itself and they can see the sky in China and see through the water in Italy, and they're pointing out all the wonderful things that's happening in the midst of it. And we have a wonderful conversation.
Nice. So how is your job at the hospital different than my job at the church? And how are they the same?
They're the same in that we both do pastoral care. We both meet with people and be present to them in whatever situation is happening to them. The big difference is, and I do see the hospital as a parish site for me. When patients ask me, where's your parish? I said, it's right here in the hospital. But the difference is, in a parish, you get to celebrate joys and blessings and baptisms and wonderful things happening. Whereas in a hospital, it's mostly illness. And a lot of the conversations are not even around their diagnosis, it's around how the diagnosis is impacting their families. And that's their concern. So in a parish, we have more of a balance. That doesn't mean I can't do it now, as we can't do it in the church, but I do take communion. I do have my oil stock and anoint as people need it.
And so as a chaplain, it sounds like you do a lot of one-on-one work rather than doing a lot of group work. Is that right?
It's more one-on-one, but then there are times, depending on how sick they are, that the families involved and are there and are distressed, and so there's time with the families. There have also been times when something has gone very wrong and the staff are upset, and I spend time with the staff and assist them.
And one last question. Mm-hmm. What brings a lot of joy to you in that particular ministry?
The joy is when, for me, is when those people that I meet with who basically start out with a question mark, and then they start talking, and quite often they'll say, I've never shared that with anyone. but yet they feel better for having done so. And in those, and in the cases where I meet with people who actually, instead of talking about their knowledge of God, they're sharing their personal experiences of God. And when we share our faith stories, I think that lifts both parties, both people that are sharing their individual experiences of God. We get to know a bigger portion of what God is like, because we only see a little bit. And so it enhances it. And so there's great joy around that.
Well, thank you very much for telling us what you do. And let's say goodbye to everyone and thank Marilyn for coming. Bye.
Bye.